The English Channel hit my face like a frozen punch. That kind of cold that steals your breath and your thoughts all at once. For 1 second, I saw the yacht lights flicker above me like cheap Christmas decorations. Then I saw nothing but dark water and darker silence. My silk shawl wrapped around my face like a ghost hand. And in that moment, I did not think about my $3 billion. I thought about my dead husband's reading glasses still sitting on his nightstand. That was it. That was my whole life flashing before me. A pair of old man glasses. As I sank into that freezing English sea, I made a promise to myself. If I get out of this, I am never wearing silk again. And I am never trusting a daughter-in-law again. My name is Margaret, but everyone calls me Maggie. I am 70 years old. I was born in a small town outside Bristol, where the rain falls sideways and people mind their own business. My father was a mechanic. My mother cleaned houses. We were not rich, but we were not poor either. We were somewhere in the middle. That comfortable spot where you have enough to eat, but not enough to waste. I met my husband David when we were both 19. He was tall and quiet, and he smelled like sawdust. He built a construction company from nothing. One van. One helper. One dream. I worked beside him for 40 years. I answered phones. I made tea. I kept the books. I raised our son Thomas. Thomas was a good boy. Soft-spoken. He became a doctor because he wanted to help people. He married Laura when he was 28. Laura was American. From Connecticut. She had a sharp smile and sharper elbows. She worked in finance, which should have been my first red flag. She called me Maggie from day one. Not mom, not mum. Just Maggie, like we were colleagues at a business meeting. David loved her because she made Thomas laugh. I loved her because Thomas loved her. That is what mothers do. We love who our children love, even when our bones tell us not to. David passed away 3 years ago. Heart attack, sudden. He left me everything. The construction company. The properties. The investments. $3 billion. That number still feels fake when I say it. After David died, Laura changed. Slowly at first. Then all at once. She started asking about the will. About the trusts. About what would happen if I got sick. If I fell. If I forgot things. I told her I was fine. She smiled. But her smile never reached her eyes. That was the beginning of the end. The trigger came on a rainy Tuesday in London. Laura took me to tea at a fancy hotel near Hyde Park. The kind of place where a cup of tea costs more than my first car. She smiled across the table and said, "Maggie, we need to talk about your future." I said, "What about my future?" She said, "You are not getting any younger. What if you have a fall? What if you have a stroke? The lawyers will freeze everything. Thomas and I will be stuck for years. I think you should sign a power of attorney. Just a simple document. Just so I can pay your bills if something happens." I looked at her manicured hands. I looked at her expensive watch. I said, "I will think about it." She said, "Take your time." But her voice said something else. Her voice said, "Sign now or else." That night, I called my old friend Harold. Harold is a retired solicitor from Cornwall. He is 83 years old and mean as a winter storm. I told him everything. He was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "Maggie, do not sign a single paper. Not a napkin. Not a receipt, nothing. That woman is not your daughter-in-law. That woman is a crocodile in a designer dress." The next morning, I found a folder on my kitchen table. Laura had left it there. The top page said durable power of attorney. The second page said irrevocable trust agreement. The third page said transfer of all assets to Laura Bennett as sole trustee. I made a cup of tea. I put the folder in the trash. I did not sign anything. That afternoon, Laura called me. Her voice was sweet like poisoned honey. She asked if I had signed. I said no. The line went quiet for 3 full seconds. Then she said, "Okay, Maggie. Whatever you think is best." She hung up. That was the sharp turning point. I knew right then that I was not just refusing a signature. I was declaring a war I never asked to fight. The first incident happened 2 weeks later. I woke up to find my personal checking account frozen. 0 balance. I drove to the bank in the rain. The manager showed me a letter signed with my name. A letter requesting a freeze due to suspected elder abuse. I did not write that letter. The manager was apologetic, but his hands were tied. I called Laura. She sounded so surprised. "Oh, Maggie, that is terrible," she said. "Probably a computer glitch. I will make some calls." She never did. The account stayed frozen for 3 weeks. I lived on cash from my neighbor, Mrs. Cooper. £20 here, £50 there, Mrs. Cooper never asked questions. She just held my hand and said, "You will get through this, love." The second incident was the loneliness. Laura started taking Thomas away from me. Weekend trips to Paris. Long weekends in Scotland. A 2-week holiday in Italy. She sent me photos. Thomas smiling. Laura smiling. But Thomas looked thinner, tired. His eyes had dark circles. When he called me, his voice was flat, distant. I asked him if he was okay. He said, "Mum, I am fine. Laura just needs some time alone with me." I did not argue. A mother knows when her son is being pulled away. I started eating dinner alone. My big farmhouse table. 1 plate. 1 glass. The television playing shows I did not watch. Some nights I just sat in the dark. The silence was a living thing. It sat across from me like an unwanted guest. The third incident was the doctor. Laura scheduled a home visit from a psychiatrist. A young man named Dr. Evans. He had a gold tie pin and very white teeth. He asked me questions. "What year is it? Who is the Prime Minister? Can you count backwards from 100? I answered everything correctly. But Laura had given him notes before he arrived. I saw her slip him a folded paper. After he left, she told Thomas that Dr. Evans was concerned about my memory. She said Mum needs full-time care. Maybe a nice facility in the countryside. Thomas looked at me with pity. Real pity. Like I was already gone. That night, I called Harold again. I said, "They are trying to put me in a home." Harold said, "Listen to me very carefully, Maggie. Do not get angry. Get smart. Start writing everything down. Dates, times. What she says. What she does." I bought a small red notebook from the corner shop. I started writing. Every fake smile. Every canceled visit. Every paper she tried to make me sign. That notebook became my lifeline. The discovery came on a cold Thursday in November. Laura had come to my house to collect some old silver. Family heirlooms. She said she wanted to have them cleaned for Christmas. I said fine. While she was upstairs, I went to the cabinet where I kept David's old papers. The cabinet was unlocked. The folder was gone. The folder with the original will. The folder with the bank statements. The folder with everything. I did not confront her. I waited. That night I called Harold. He said, "Maggie, this is serious. She is not just greedy. She is systematic." He hired a private investigator. A retired Scotland Yard detective named Sarah. Sarah was small and quiet and wore glasses that made her look like a librarian. She spent 10 days watching, listening, digging. Then she called me to a small pub near Paddington Station. She slid a folder across the sticky table. Inside were bank statements. Laura had opened 9 accounts in my name using a forged signature. She had transferred £15 million over 18 months. She had also drafted a new will. A will that left everything to her. Not to Thomas. Not to Charity, to her. The will said Margaret Holliday, being of unsound mind. Unsound mind. I had just won my bridge club tournament last week. Sarah said to me, "Maggie, this woman is not patient. Patient people wait. Hungry people push." I asked Sarah what she meant. She said I would not get on any small boats with her if I were you. I laughed, but my hands were shaking so hard I could not hold my teacup. I decided to fight like an English gardener, quiet, patient, methodical. First, I hired a new solicitor, a woman named Miss Khan. She was young and sharp, and she wore boots to court. Miss Khan helped me freeze every account Laura had touched. She filed a police report without alerting the suspect. She also helped me draft a new will. Everything goes to a charity for elderly women. Women who have no family. Women who have no money. Women who have no one to fight for them. Second, I started recording my daily life. Short videos on my phone every morning. Good morning. Today is November 15th. I am feeling well. I just walked 2 miles. I am going to bake a pie. Those videos felt silly at first, but Miss Khan said they would be crucial if Laura ever tried to claim I had dementia. Third, I reached out to old friends. Women I had known for 30 years. I invited them for tea. One by one. I did not tell them everything, but I asked them to visit often. To be witnesses. To be present. The last part of the plan was the hardest. Laura had been begging me to go on a yacht trip. A family holiday, she said. A chance to heal. A chance to bond. Just the 3 of us, Thomas, Laura, and me. I knew it was a trap, but I said yes. Because sometimes you have to walk into the trap to spring it. Miss Khan arranged for a second boat to follow us. A small fishing boat with 2 police officers and a video camera. Sarah, the investigator, would be on that boat. I also wore a recording device. A small pen that recorded audio. Miss Khan gave it to me. She said, "Keep it in your pocket. Keep it on at all times." I practiced using it at home. I felt like a spy. A 70-year-old grandmother's spy. It was almost funny. Almost. The yacht was called Sea Breeze. White, shiny. Too rich for my blood. Laura wore a white sundress and big sunglasses. She looked like she belonged on a magazine cover. Thomas wore shorts and a sad expression. He looked like a man who had not slept in a year. I wore a simple blue cardigan. The one David bought me on our 30th anniversary. We sailed from Southampton into open water. The sky was clear. The sea was calm, too calm. It felt like the world was holding its breath. Laura served lunch, salmon, salad. White wine. I ate nothing. I drank nothing. I watched, I waited. After lunch, Laura said, "Maggie, come to the front of the boat. The view is amazing. Let me take your picture." Thomas was below deck. He said he had a headache. I followed Laura to the bow. The wind was strong. My hair blew across my face. Laura stood close. Too close. She put her arm around my shoulder. She leaned toward my ear. She spoke softly like a lover. Like a friend. She said, "Maggie, I know about Miss Khan. I know about the police report. I know about the frozen accounts. Did you think I would not find out?" I did not answer. She continued. She said, "You think you are so clever. But you forgot one thing. You are old. You are weak. And we are in the middle of the English Channel. No one can hear you scream. I felt her hand move to my back. Her palm pressed against my spine. I felt the pressure, the intention. She was going to push me. I looked into her eyes. I said, "Laura, I know about the 9 accounts. I know about the 15 million. I know about the forged will. I have evidence. I have witnesses. I have a recording device in my pocket. Everything you say right now is being recorded." Her face changed. The mask fell off. The smile disappeared. Her eyes turned small and hard. She said, "You stupid old cow. You think a recording will save you. You will be fish food by morning." Then she shoved me, hard. My feet left the deck. My body tilted backward. The sky spun above me. The water waited below. I grabbed her wrist. Not to save myself. To take her with me. We both fell against the railing. My back hit the metal. Pain shot through my spine. Laura screamed. A real scream. Not a movie scream. A human scream full of fear. Then I heard another sound. A boat engine, loud, close. The fishing boat. It pulled up alongside the yacht. 2 police officers jumped onto the deck. Sarah followed with her phone recording everything. One officer pulled Laura away from me. The other officer helped me stand. My legs were shaking. My heart was pounding. But I was alive. I was standing. And I was not silent. Thomas came running up from below. He saw the police. He saw Laura crying. He saw me holding the railing. He asked what happened. I said nothing. I let Sarah show him the video. He watched. His face went white. His hands started shaking. He looked at Laura and said one word, "Why?" She did not answer. She just cried. But her tears were not real. They were the tears of someone who got caught. Not someone who was sorry. There is a difference. A big difference. Laura was arrested that night. The police took her from the yacht in handcuffs. She did not look back at me. She did not look at Thomas. She stared straight ahead at nothing. I watched her go. I felt no joy. No satisfaction. I felt sadness for her. For Thomas. For the family that could have been. The trial took 8 months. Laura was convicted of fraud, forgery, criminal conspiracy, attempted manslaughter. The judge gave her 6 years. Her father was also arrested. He had helped her open the fake accounts. He got 3 years. The psychiatrist doctor. Evans lost his license. The lawyer who drafted the forged will was disbarred. Thomas divorced Laura from a courthouse in London. He did not look at her. He signed the papers and walked out. He came to my farmhouse that evening. He fell to his knees. He put his head in my lap. He cried like a little boy. He said, "Mum, I am so sorry." I did not see. I did not want to see. I held his head. I stroked his hair. I said, "You are my son. You are my blood. There is nothing to forgive." He asked me how I could be so kind. I said kindness is not for her. Kindness is for me. It is the only way to survive. I changed my will again. Most of the 3 billion went to a charity for elderly women. Women who have no one. Women like me could have been. I kept enough for a small cottage in Cornwall. A small garden. A small life. Thomas lives nearby now. He runs a free clinic for poor families. He does not take a salary. He says he has enough. He has his mother. He has his work. He has his peace. I still have the red notebook. I still write in it every night. Not about the betrayal anymore. About the small joys. The first daffodil of spring. The sound of rain on the roof. The way the sea smells after a storm. These are the things that matter. These are the things that cannot be stolen. I forgave Laura last Christmas. Not because she asked. She never did. I forgave her because I needed to let go. Holding hate is like carrying a brick in your chest. It gets heavier every day. I put the brick down. I picked up my garden trowel. And I am still here. Still standing. Still planting things that grow. The sea is calm now. The yacht was sold. The money is given away. The cottage is quiet. But it is a good quiet. A quiet full of birdsong and tea kettles and my son's laughter. I learned something in that cold water. Money does not love you. Property does not hold your hand. Power does not kiss your forehead. Only people do that. Only love does that. And love cannot be forged. It cannot be stolen. It cannot be pushed off a yacht. Love just stays. Like David's reading glasses. Like my red notebook. Like the small blue cardigan I wore on the coldest night of my life. If this story hit you right in the chest, hit that like button. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to Her Voices for more real-life stories told quiet and told true. And remember, just because someone calls you family does not mean they will not shove you off the boat. Keep your eyes open. Keep your people close. And keep your cardigan buttoned. You never know when the water will rise.